Have you ever wondered how it is possible for a Glo subscriber to access the MTN subscriber? Well, interconnectivity makes this possible, as without interconnectivity, an individual would have to subscribe to multiple networks in order to access subscribers of these networks. Hello everyone, my name is Ajele Oluwadamilola Josephine. I'm a virtual intern at Allen Solicitors and an undergraduate law student at Babcock University. Today, I will be presenting the topic interconnectivity of telecommunication networks in Nigeria, network-to-network access. The Nigerian Communications Act 2003, which will be referred to in this video as the NCA, is the principal legislation governing the telecommunication sector in Nigeria, and it defines interconnectivity in section 157 as the physical and logical linking and connection of communication systems used or operated by the same or different licensees in order to convey messages to and from the respective systems for the provision of services. In simple terms, interconnectivity is a commercial or technical arrangement between service providers by which they connect their systems, network, and subscribers for the seamless end-to-end connection between their subscribers. Apart from eliminating the need for an individual to subscribe to multiple networks, interconnectivity has other benefits such as profit maximization, encouraging profit maximization, ensuring that the value that the network brings to its users is at optimum level, securing seamless end-to-end connection between its subscribers, and securing fair competition between network subscribers. Section 96 of the NCA makes it mandatory for a service provider to interconnect its communication system upon a request for interconnection with another licensee. However, there are circumstances where interconnection will not be feasible. Section 5 of the Telecommunications Networks Interconnection Regulation 2007 provides 4 circumstances where interconnection will not be feasible. 1. Where the requesting party, that is the party that is requesting for interconnection, is running a business for which it does not have a license. 2. Where the requesting party's business does not require interconnectivity. 3. Where there is no point of interconnection between the two parties. And finally, where interconnection will cause harm to the requested party. The requested party is the party to whom a letter of request for interconnection has been sent to. It is also known as the incumbent party or the dominant party. It is the duty of the requested party to draft an interconnection agreement. What is an interconnection agreement? An interconnection agreement is a legally binding agreement that stipulates the duties and obligations of the parties in respect to interconnectivity. The interconnection agreement, according to Section 97 of the NCA, must conform to the provisions of the NCA as well as any other regulations or guidelines that may be published from time to time. The interconnection agreement must also conform with certain principles that have been provided by Section 97 sub 1 paragraph B, and these principles include 1. The principle of non-discrimination. This principle is simply stating that a requested party should not discriminate between networks by refusing to connect to another network. Like I said, it is mandatory for a service provider to connect its communication systems with another licensee upon a request for interconnection, except under the circumstances I mentioned, where interconnection is not feasible. 2. The principle of neutrality. This principle works hand in hand. It works in tandem with the principle of non-discrimination. It is simply stating that the internet service providers should not be selective about the traffic they transmit and should not treat contents, users, platforms, or equipment that access their internet differently. They should be treated equally. 3. The principle of transparency. To explain this principle of transparency, I will need to point out that telecommunication companies in Nigeria charge a certain sum of money for calls that terminate on their network. This rate is known as the interconnection rate. The principle of transparency seeks to ensure that telecommunication companies do not arbitrarily charge high sums as interconnection rates. 4. The principle of fair competition. This principle ensures that service providers do not engage in anti-competitive practices that could prejudice other state security service providers. It ensures to create an environment that is devoid of any unhealthy rivalry. 5. The principle of universal coverage. This principle ensures that every single person, irrespective of their earnings and location, gets access to telecommunication services at reasonable prices. Coincidentally, this is also one of the objectives of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 as provided in Section 1, subsection B. It is important for me to state that despite the terms and conditions that are imputed in an interconnection agreement, a service provider cannot unilaterally disconnect an interconnecting party without the prior written approval of the NCC. Paragraph 3 of the guidelines on the procedure for granting approval to disconnected communication operators 2012 provides 4 circumstances that might warrant for disconnection. 1. Where the interconnecting party has refused to settle or has failed to settle its interconnect indebtedness after it becomes due. 2. Where the interconnecting party is carrying out some acts that are contrary to the terms of his license in regards to interconnection. 3. Where there is a breach of the interconnection agreement. And finally, where the interconnection agreement is terminated in accordance to the terms and conditions of the agreement. It's important to note that these circumstances do not give the operator the right to disconnect unilaterally. It still has to go to the Nigerian Communications Commission and seek a written approval before disconnecting any interconnecting parties. This is exemplified in the case of Intercellular Nigeria Commissions versus MTN Communication Commissions. It is important to note that while the NCC is pending granting approval to disconnect, it might order for a partial disconnection. The effect of the partial disconnection is a unidirectional flow as opposed to a bidirectional flow, meaning that if, for instance, Glo has failed to settle its interconnection indebtedness after it has become due with MTN, and MTN has asked NCC for approval to disconnect Glo, NCC might grant MTN a partial disconnection, and so MTN partially disconnects Glo, meaning that calls from MTN to Glo will be able to go through, but calls from Glo to MTN will not scale through, unidirectional flow and not bidirectional flow. It is important to note that in cases of disputes between interconnecting parties, Section 73, 74, and 75 of the Nigerian Communications Act provide that the NCC can intervene to settle disputes. However, before the parties go to NCC for the resolution of their disputes, they have to first try negotiation. Then when negotiation fails, they can go to the NCC for resolution of the disputes. Also, right of appeal to the NCC decisions lies to the Federal High Courts. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to this very point. For more information on interconnectivity of telecommunication networks in Nigeria, please visit our website at www.halemsolicitors.com or follow us on LinkedIn at Halem Solicitors. Thank you once again.